Leo Dawson sat in the dim light of the bridge, his hands resting on the worn controls of the horizon's edge. The freighter floated quietly near the edge of human space, far from Earth, where the stars looked colder and the silence felt heavier. It had been a long haul, carrying supplies to a small research station. Now, the job was done, and all he wanted was to go home. On Earth, in a deep bunker beneath Geneva, Naomi Quinn sipped cold coffee and watched the screens. She was tired, but someone had to keep watch. The Galactic Council had promised peace, but peace never felt safe. Suddenly, a red light flashed. A signal from Proxima Centauri B, cut off mid-sentence. Then another from Eridani Prime, then another and another. No warnings, no attacks on radar, just silence. Naomi called her team. Pull all data, check for signs of impact, energy bursts, anything. Her voice stayed calm, but her heart beat fast. Within an hour, they had the truth. The colonies were gone. Not just damaged, wiped out. Ships, homes, people, all turned to dust and floating metal. The pictures came in slowly. A child's toy spinning in space, a broken lab chair drifting past a cracked dome, bodies in suits, lifeless. The cause? Weapons fire. Not natural, not an accident, an attack. The Valen Dominion was responsible. They were a powerful alien race, proud and cold, who never liked humans. They had stayed quiet for years, but now they had struck without warning. The Galactic Council met fast. Leaders from many worlds spoke through screens and translators. Some were angry, some were scared. All wanted to talk. "We must investigate," said one. "Sanctions first," said another. "No violence." But on Earth, people watched the news, parents held their kids tighter, soldiers cleaned their weapons. In the White House bunker, President Elena Boone read the reports and said nothing for a long time. Then she looked up and said, "They think we will beg. They think we will wait." She stood and walked to the window, looking at the blue planet from space in the monitor. "We have always followed the rules. We have always tried to be good neighbors. But this is not a mistake. This is war." And in that moment, something changed. Not with loud cries or speeches, but in quiet rooms and dark ships, the gears began to turn. Earth had been hurt. Earth had been silent. But now it was waking up, and it would not forget. Deep under the ice of Antarctica, machines hummed to life. Steel doors opened in the dark. Lights came on in hidden halls wider than cities. This was Project Aegis, a secret Earth program no one knew about, not even the Galactic Council. For years it had waited. Now it moved. Ships were built in silence. Big black warships with strong armor and weapons that could burn through metal like paper. They had no names at first, just numbers. But one was different. The USS Vanguard, the first of its kind. It could fly faster, hide better, and strike harder than any ship before. Commander Ray Ellis stood on the launch deck looking up at the massive vessel. He was not a loud man. He did not smile much, but his eyes were sharp, and his mind never stopped. He had lost his brother on New Haven, one of the colonies that vanished. He did not talk about it. He just did his job. His crew arrived in small groups. Pilots, engineers, medics. Most had lost someone too. Some had seen the videos of the dead. Some had held the bodies of their friends. They were not just soldiers. They were people who had nothing left but duty and anger. Up in space, alien ships watched Earth.
The Council sent probes, asking questions. Why the sudden activity? Are you planning an attack? Earth answered politely, "We are increasing defense," they said, "for safety." But the truth was hidden under ice and lies. In Geneva, Naomi Quinn worked day and night. She tracked alien signals, studied Velm movements, and sent quiet orders to secret bases. She knew the Council would not help. They would talk until everyone was dead. So Earth had to act alone. One night, Ellis walked through the Vanguard. The ship was alive with sound, machines testing, voices calling, lights flashing. He stopped at a window and looked out into space. Stars stared back, cold and silent. A young officer joined him. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" he asked. Ellis didn't look away from the stars. "Right doesn't matter now, only what works. They hit us in the dark. We hit back in the light, so they see it coming." Far away, on the Veln homeworld, leaders laughed. They thought Earth was weak. They thought humans would cry and beg. They were wrong. Earth was not crying. Earth was coming.
The Vel moon, Zarnak 9, was full of light and noise. Millions of Veln gathered in great domes in wide streets to celebrate. Flags waved, music played, and leaders spoke of victory. They had attacked human colonies, they said, and Earth had done nothing. No war fleet, no revenge, only silence. To them, it meant fear. It meant they had won. On the Vanguard, the lights were low. Commander Ray Ellis sat in the command chair, his face calm. Around him, the crew worked in silence. No jokes, no talk, only focus. The ship had traveled far, hiding in the dark between stars, using new tech to stay unseen. Now it floated just beyond Zarnak 9's orbit, with two sister ships close behind. "Weapons online," said the officer at arms. "Shields stable," said another. Ellis took a slow breath. He thought of New Haven, of his brother's last message, of the child's toy floating in space. He closed his eyes for just a second. Then he said, "Begin attack." The sky above Zarnak 9 split open. 3 black ships dropped from warp, silent and fast. Before the Veln could react, the first strike hit. Plasma beams cut through the air, burning through military bases and power stations. Explosions lit the surface like sudden suns. The people screamed, leaders ran. But there was no place to hide. The Vanguard fired again. This time, gravity bombs, terrible weapons that shook the ground from within. Huge cracks ran across the moon's surface. Domes broke, cities fell into deep holes, the air hissed out into space. The Velm fleet tried to fight back, but their ships were old, slow. 2 were destroyed before they could launch. The others turned to run, but the Earth ships were faster. One by one, they were shot down. In less than 90 minutes, it was over. Zarnak 9 was broken. Fires burned everywhere. The air was thin. Millions were dead. The once proud moon now spun slowly, damaged and dying. The Vanguard and the other ships did not stay. They turned and left, vanishing into space as quietly as they came. Back on Earth, President Elena Boone stood in front of a screen. A message was sent to all galactic channels. It showed pictures, human homes destroyed, children lost, bodies in the cold. Then Boone spoke. "You attacked us in silence. You killed our people. You thought we would do nothing. We have answered." No one on Earth cheered. Many cried. But all knew one thing now. Earth was not weak. And the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The message spread fast. Across the galaxy, screens lit up with the same video, Earth's reply. Every species saw it, the burning colonies, the broken homes, the faces of the dead. Then President Boone's voice, cold and strong. "We have answered." Shock filled the Galactic Council. Leaders from dozens of worlds sat in silence. Some could not believe what Earth had done. Others were afraid. On Mars, in the Grand Council Hall, Ambassador Greg Holloway stood alone in front of a half-circle of alien leaders. He did not wear a suit of war. He wore a simple gray coat. He carried no weapon, just a small data crystal in his hand. "This," he said, holding it up, "is proof. The Veln planned this for years. They did not attack out of fear. They attacked out of hate." He placed the crystal on the table. Images filled the air. Secret messages, war plans, videos of human prisoners in Veln labs. Some were tortured. Others were used in cruel tests. One showed a Veln officer laughing as a child's life support was turned off. Gasps came from the crowd. Even the species who disliked humans looked away in shame. "We asked for help," Holloway said. "We sent warnings. We followed your rules. But you did nothing, so we acted." A tall Cathar leader stood, his scaly face red with anger. "You destroyed a world. Millions died. This is not justice. It is madness." "And what is it?" Holloway asked. "When a child is burned alive in her bed, is that justice? Is that peace?" No one answered. The Lyran ambassador, a soft-voiced being of light and calm, floated forward. "We must not fall into hate, but we cannot ignore the truth. The Veln broke the peace first." Slowly, voices began to shift. Some still demanded punishment for Earth, but others said nothing, and many began to watch their own allies more closely. Trade routes changed. Veln ships were turned away. Some colonies cut ties with the Dominion. Even species that once mocked Earth now sent quiet messages of respect. On the streets of New York, people watched the news. They did not cheer. They stood together, quiet, knowing the cost. Leo Dawson, the old freighter captain, sat in a diner looking at a photo of his nephew who died on Proxima b. "We didn't want this," he said to no one. But the galaxy had changed. Earth was no longer seen as weak. It was seen as dangerous, not because it started fights, but because when pushed too far, it would not stop. And for the first time, smaller worlds began to wonder. Maybe it was better to have Earth as a friend.
6 months passed. The stars stayed quiet. No more colonies fell. No more ships attacked. Earth did not send fleets to conquer. It did not ask for land or power. Instead, it rebuilt. New homes rose on Mars. Domes were sealed on Europa. The names of the lost were carved into stone walls in every city. Children grew up hearing stories, not of war, but of courage, of what happened when peace was broken. The vanguard still flew, but not to hunt. It patrolled. It watched. Commander Ray Ellis stood on the bridge again, looking at the stars. His face was tired, but his eyes were calm. The anger had not gone, but it was under control now. It had a purpose. One day, a call came. A Lyran refugee ship was in danger. Veln loyalists, those who still believed in the old hate, were chasing it. The ship was weak, slow, full of families. Ellis did not wait for orders. Set course, full speed. When the vanguard arrived, the enemy ships turned to fight, but they saw the black hull, the sharp edges, the mark of Earth. They hesitated. Then, one by one, they ran. The Lyran captain sent a message. "Thank you, Earth. We will not forget." Ellis nodded. "Just get your people home." Back on Earth, President Elena Boone walked through a garden in Denver. Trees grew where once there was only stone. Flowers bloomed in the spring sun. A young girl ran up to her, holding a drawing. It showed Earth as a lion, strong and proud, standing over broken chains. "This is you," the girl said. Boone smiled and took the paper. "No, this is all of us." That night, in the council hall on Mars, the vote was called. Should Earth be punished for its attack on Zarnak 9? Some said yes, but more stayed silent. In the end, no action was taken. Earth had not asked for approval. It had acted. And now the galaxy knew. Humans would not run, they would not beg. If peace was given, they would honor it. But if war came, they would answer with fire. And so life went on. Ships flew, planets turned, children laughed. But deep in space, the Vanguard and its sisters still watched. Because peace is not given, it is protected. And Earth would never be unready again.